with all this going on at the moment with the pandemic, here I am again, sat in a car park. This time I'm in Tesco's, and I don't know if you can see that. I'm just in the car park now, and I thought, while I was out, I just wrote a Bible verse on a post-it note to read out. It reminds me of something that we're very close to now, I believe. I do believe, it's my personal opinion, that we are not far off from the tribulation. I don't know if it will start, very soon, or could we have just a few more years, maybe. I hope so. Although I do want to see Jesus, I, want to be with him, but I also want to see people saved. It reminds me of a verse in the Bible, what's happening recently. I just want to read this verse. Let's turn the light on a second, so I can read it. It's from Luke 21 and verse 16, and it says, "You will be delivered up, even by parents, brothers, relatives and friends, and some of you they will put to death." And it reminds me of what's going on here at the moment with this pandemic, and here in the UK, I'm not sure if it's the same in America. I think I've heard stories on Drudge about this happening, where there are online forms that people can fill in to snitch on their neighbours. And I know on my street I'm always seeing people not adhering to the lockdown rules, and I think we're all bending them slightly sometimes. And you can go onto the police website and fill in a form and literally snitch on your neighbour. And I think it sets a very worrying precedent. And it reminds me of this verse. It's in Luke, it's also in Matthew, I think, as well, and maybe in other places, where it tells us that in the last days, people's enemies will be in their own households. That's weird. Why do lights just come on? Blind. What's going on? Why is that on? What's going on? Gone crazy. Anyway, people's enemies will be in their own households, and people will be snitching on one another. And when the mark of the beast comes in, I'm unsure at the moment. I'm still researching into that. Has it got anything to do with this Bill Gates vaccination, or is that just a prelude to the actual thing? Something that I'm going to continue to look into. But anyway, when the mark of the beast comes in, there will be people of someone's household and people on the same street and relatives who will most likely be using some form now of these online forms, these online snitch forms, where you go and, as we say in Britain, go and grass someone up. You will be grassed up, as it were. You'll be snitched upon by your neighbour, even relatives, even brothers or sisters, going to this form saying this person has not yet had the mark of the beast. They have not received the mark yet, and, then police will come round and arrest people and say take the mark or have your head cut off. And that's how serious it will get. It will not be a good time. It will be the worst time in history in the tribulation. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. It's like, in my eyes, it could be seen, these verses as a fulfillment of what's going on now. These verses are being fulfilled, where everything now is put in place. These people are used to following orders and following the rules, and adhering to these lockdowns and doing what the government says, and snitching on their neighbours when they see that they're not following the rules properly. And it's all a big test. I do believe it's like a big testing for the main thing, which will come at some point in the near future. It won't be long now before probably they'll say we all have to wear masks or something like that. I tried one once in my last video, if you watched my last video, and I couldn't breathe in it. So, but at the moment I'm not wearing a mask, but I'm just wiping my hands down. I mean, there is a real virus out there, but it is being overhyped. The fear of it is just being hyped up, and I do believe it's made to appear a lot worse than it actually is. I know people are dying, but because of this, millions of people will die from starvation. A lot worse than the amount of people who will die from this pandemic. So anyway, thanks for watching. God bless, and the Lord willing, I will be making another video soon. I've got some information about what I believe the Lord was showing me a few years back, and an update on that and how now it's like being fulfilled. If you'd like me to pray for you, just leave a comment below. Please like this video if you think that others would enjoy it too. Okay, thanks.